Well, I guess it's that time of the year again, man. Halloween, you know what that means. Spooky flicks, or in the case of Al Smythe, watching one and being like, nah, homie.
Yeah,
Who does
come
that?
on, Al.
Anyway, we're always watching spooky
Yeah.
flicks, so Halloween is just another fucking day to us, other than we eat tons of candy and die of diabetic shock.
Also, have been kind of banging pumpkins lately. It's not
Pretty
great.
You know what? I think Al was the guy that said if you like pumpkins, you clearly bang them.
That's a good point. He was right.
Logic, as
Yeah.
AJ Good would say.
Shit.
Anyway, it's time, guy.
Yeah.
And this time we chose to do it a different way. We're not going to do like a review of a movie by movie or something. We're going to do some tier lists of some series. You know, we're going to start with Jeepers Creepers, a controversial series because the bulk of these films were made by a pedo, aka Victor Salva. And granted, the guy hadn't pedoed since he pedoed.
But once you pedo, you pedo forever, guy.
Once you pedo, you're out, guy. People are going to be like, that's pedo, guy. And, look, we're going to put aside the fact that he's a controversial figure because clearly some people enjoyed some of these movies. So, clearly some people were like, whatever. I guess we can ignore that. We certainly did. And watched all of them, guy. Now, granted, you hadn't watched 3, which I had, and I was like, don't.
Yeah, there's a review of that.
But I was too fair to that fucking... I was too kind to in that review.
You kind of were, guy.
But we're going to talk about it here because you finally saw it. And we saw this year's Jeepers Creepers Reborn, which is supposed to be a reboot, I guess. We'll talk about that. But Jeepers Creepers Reborn is not directed by Victor Salva because I guess they finally decided, hey, we kind of need to make money, guy. And they got some guy that... that definitely did something.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Let's not talk about that yet, though.
Yeah. So let's start off with Jeepers Creepers 1. Where's there? By the way, our of course, classic tier list with S being the premier, the supreme status. A, obviously great, right? B, kind of, it's still good. We're still good, baby. C, it has some flaws, but I guess. D, stinky boy. But the ultimate trash can here is Jeepers Crappers. That's when there's just no redeeming qualities, guy. You got to dump that boy in the trash can. We'll try to be as fair as we can, but our emotions might get the best of us here. Anyway, let's start with the original Jeepers Creepers, the first one, guy. I don't know what your thoughts are, guy, but I think it's safe to say without our input, this is kind of like a little minor classic, guy. Clearly has a lot of fans. I think deservedly so. It introduced a character that's pretty cool, pretty iconic. Once, at least for a while until you begin to see that it's kind of like a weird surrogate for his pedo lust. But whatever, he's definitely a cool looking character, and there's an eeriness to him, and it feels kind of fresh and original.
Well, first of all, it should be said we do have reviews for Jeepers 1 and 2 if you want to see our extended thoughts. But plus, it's got certified Scream Queen Justin Long.
Yeah. I like Justin Long, guy. I don't like him in Kevin Smith movies very much, but, I like him. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. Dude, apparently he got fucking kidnapped on the set of some movie.
It's weird, huh?
They kidnapped that boy, guy, and they tried to fucking blackmail him.
Come on, guy.
Come on,
he survived the creeper, even though he didn't. He's super died.
He mad died, guy.
Insanely died.
Anyway, look, Jeepers Creepers, I think, is a classic without our input. But I think I support that. It's kind of like a minor classic. It technically is kind of a slasher movie, but it adds these textures that are kind of different. It has its own stank to it,
Yeah.
It's also a monster movie. It's also this. And it has a lot of weird subtext, which we'll, ignore sometimes. But I got to put it, personally, I'm going to say we put it in the A. I don't think it's in the...
think it's an S.
It's in the, it's not...
I was going to say that too, guy. I don't think it's an S tier.
I don't think it's up there with the greats of fucking horror, but it's definitely...
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely deserving of... It made you kind of forget that Victor Salva was a pede,
I feel like a lot of people just didn't know.
You know what? You're right, man. It's after its popularity that people were like...
He's a pede?
This guy's a pede. He'd been getting around for a while, too.
Yeah.
So... I was going to say good on him, but that's not good.
That's super not
anyway,
good.
Getting around in Hollywood is what I meant, not in the pede sense. But anyway, although I guess that's synonymous nowadays. But let's go to the second one.
I feel like you'd be okay nowadays.
You probably would, man, hanging out with fucking Kevin Spacey and shit.
No. Who was that other guy that peded recently?
Who was the other guy that... I don't know.
Anyway.
You just throw a fucking dart on a Hollywood...
That's a good point. Jeepers 2.
yeah, Jeepers Creepers 2. It was inevitable we were gonna get a sequel, and we did not long after.
Saw it theatrically, I remember.
Oh yeah, you did, huh? Yeah. I gotta be honest with you. The first time I saw this, I really enjoyed it. But subsequent viewings, it's not that I hate it. It's just that I think it made the wrong choices to focus on the wrong things. Namely, disturbingly, you would say, on the teen boys.
Yeah,
there was a super interesting character that had a vendetta out for this motherfucker and was hunting him down. They didn't focus on this guy at all. Basically, they focused on a bunch of dudes in a bus.
Yep, sweaty dudes.
Sweaty dudes peeing in fields with the creeper licking the window, looking at them, and you're like, "Come on, Victor."
That's weird.
Who does that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird sexual subtext in this that just makes it kind of like all the worse. But it's not. There's cool stuff in this, and I really wish it was about this guy's hunt for revenge on the creeper that killed his son. I really wish it was that, because there was cool stuff there. There's still cool stuff there, but I think largely the movie kind of suffers from focusing on the wrong thing, and it's super uninteresting thing too.
Yeah, I've only seen it twice, and I gotta say I don't hate, but I don't love.
Yeah, so I would have originally said when I first saw it, maybe like this is a B, but I gotta be honest with you, it's like a C. Really, it's bordering on D.
Yeah, it's a border. I wish you could pour one right here again.
Yeah, if we could, we would put it on D.
C, I guess.
We might put it on D.
You want to put it on D again?
Let's put it on D, but it's like,
D for dude dicks?
Might as well, right? But we understand that it's not complete fucking caca.
Speaking of complete caca.
Yeah, that's where this one fucking comes in.
Creepers
Jeepers Creepers 3 is a movie that finally happened. The Salva controversy persisted and grew, in fact, to the point where several scripts for Jeepers Creepers 3 never happened, including one called Bad Out of Hell, which was pretty cool. It was set in the West.
Had meatloaf in it.
Imagine, god damn, man. That's scary, guy.
Yeah. He was the creeper guy.
God, face. Worse than the creepers, man. Don't mean to disrespect the dead, but I do.
Well, he sucked towards the end of his days.
He was a total douche towards the end.
Yeah.
But maybe he had brain rot.
I feel like it's okay to disrespect people who are dead that sucked balls. Like
it's
Hitler.
Totally okay. It's totally okay to disrespect people that are dead, and we're cool.
I would do a freaking jig on Hitler's grave right now.
And if you're opposed to that, you suck.
You're a Nazi. You know what we do to Nazis around here.
Mm-hmm. What do we do? And I'm not clear what we do to them, but I hope it's punch them in the nuts.
I scalp them.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
this movie deserves to be scalped.
Yeah.
Because this is Jeepers Creepers 3 is a movie that finally got made. You could say that. And when it did, it had none of the stuff from the previous iterations and scripts that was cool.
It's a
it's not.
It's a mid-cool.
Yeah, it takes place in between 1 and 2. And introduces new things to the mythology that you're like, why was those things not there to begin with?
Trucks.
And what I'm talking about is trucks.
Truck
Apparently
nuts.
his fucking truck is the most powerful sentient entity on Earth.
Its sentience doesn't even make sense, because they early on established that only he can open it and shit like that. But at one point, a character leads him to a booby trap that goes off on him.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? Is it sentient or isn't it?
Did his truck, decide that he was going to go off on his own? And then it failed, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, homie." We don't know, because this truck apparently is a fucking thing of its own, guy.
Also, I gotta say, like, the first, 15 minutes aren't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually kind of like, this isn't that bad. But just as I said that, like, literally just as I said that, it becomes caca on a stick.
And it gets worse as it goes along.
By the end, you're like, why is anything happening?
It made the mistake that part 2 did, only to the nth degree. And it's that same thing. It focused on all the wrong people. They introduced this hag whose son got killed by the creeper ages ago when it hunted like 2 hunts before. And for some... We'll get on that. But she has something the creeper wants, basically. Let's leave it at that for now. Right? And, of course, there is the whole... Her son was killed by him, so she's a hag in a horror movie. So you're like, she's gonna be rad, dude. She's originally gonna be played by Adrienne Barbeau. And look, credit to the actress that did it. I thought she would have been really cool.
Yeah, actually,
she's a good actress.
She's cool. Yeah, I mean, as with whatever the heck crap freaking they gave her, she did a good job.
Yeah. It would have been really cool to actually get her, have her get her vengeance or
do anything.
But nope, they don't focus on her. And then they also introduce these people who have all been, they're hunters. They're a group of hunters, a slapdash group of hunters that have organized and are on the track of the fucking creeper because they have been affected by him. And they don't focus on them either, guy. They focus on the lame characters that at the end of the day are just there to be saved. Damsels in distress characters, basically.
Well, you also failed to mention the fact that there's a cop character in this who has the fakest plugs.
Dude.
This side of them, I feel like that was some bad CGI, but it wasn't CGI. It was a practical effect on his hair.
Yeah, it was CGI maybe.
It was freaking distracting, dude. All I could see was his plugs.
And then his hair changed shapes at times. It was weird. He's a likable guy, but that hair was distracting. Yeah, they don't focus a lot on the interesting characters or potentially interesting characters. They focus on fucking Fundio, guy. The shitty ass teams again. Oh man, Salva has something to explain, guys.
Oh, he does make it a chick this time, though.
Oh yeah, I have a feeling that was a tactical move too. Like I've been sucking off dudes to this creeper. Got to put a chick in there. Yeah, and it doesn't work that well, you know. Again,
anyway, they're supposed to like learn this knowledge from his hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the old hag has, you know, kind of like all this baggage because her son got killed, and her son apparently attained the amputated arm of the creeper back in the day.
Somehow.
Or hand, I should say. Forearm and hand. And he buried it in his farmhouse, and his ghost, a la, I guess, American Werewolf in London, is warning the hag that the creeper's going to come back for this body part. And I don't know how the fuck that fits into the mythos of this character. We literally saw him replace his head in one of the movies. Why is this hand so fucking important? But they make this hand seem so important because apparently it could tell you what the creeper is and how to defeat it. And
Somehow.
you're like, why is that a feature of his body?
I couldn't get past the fact that for a being who's been around forever, this is a feature that he freaking built into his bow dice. Why is that a thing?
Why do you have a hand that tells people stuff, especially how to beat you?
Yes.
I feel like that's a flaw in the code, guys.
You never see what they see, by the way.
Yes.
Also, there's this black dude who could have been a cool character, but he wasn't. I guess he was the best one. Anyway, black dude who
dude in a hat in a horror movie classic.
Yeah, who sees into the freaking creeper's psyche, mind, I guess, or whatever. And then he should know how to kill him, but then later he just freaking shoots him with a gun and dies. Yeah. You're like, what the hell is the knowledge that they got? And he's how to suck and die? Because they're doing really good at that.
The hag also gets to know what's up. And all she does is leave a sign for him.
Yes.
That's for the creeper. That says, "We know what you are," right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
That's it. And the creeper sees it and falls to his knees and screams to the sky. And, it's cool to see all the crows die around him. But a cool little visual is not also justify that shit.
Since this is in between 1 and 2. 1 and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess he just kind of forgot that happened. Because he just goes on his merry way in part 2.
In part 2, he's just killing teens
like,
again. I guess I didn't get my arm or whatever. Or he did get his arm.
Yeah, he crumbles the arm into smithereens.
Crumbles it.
Which I guess is what he does with his body parts, I guess.
I don't know, man. I don't know why this arm was so important. Other than it provided information which the audience never gets to see. I don't know if we're supposed to accept that what they saw is what we already know. That he's basically like a demon. I guess. But it also tells you how to kill him. And we never get that information, and they never use it. The movie just literally ends.
Yep.
It literally ends, and it ends with like, oh, now part 2 is going to happen. Yeah, but part 2 didn't resolve any of the fucking issues in the movie.
Yeah.
It sucks, dude. It's a confounding addition to a series.
Yeah.
You're like, why? Why would you add this? And now, I know horror fans are going to go, there was supposed to be a fourth one with Victor Salva. Yes, but where are you going to put that boy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You literally have a stinger ending on this that suggests that you gotta wait a fucking another 23 years, basically. Which was, by the way, the ending to the part 2. So what the fuck?
Well,
are we gonna have a future creeper?
Because the ending to part 3 is the ending to part 2, really. Because it continues from... So you're like, what's the freaking point? Future?
Yeah. You could barely afford this?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck the point of this movie was. It pointless. It added mythology that sucked nut and didn't make sense, really. The truck is a fucking demigod, stronger than goddamn the Creeper, man. And all the wrong characters are focused on. And it's a shame because the cast largely is good. There's even some nice shots in it. There's a lot of cheap CGI looking shit.
Yeah, they use CGI. They use weird CGI like dust. I'm like, dude, dust is freaking free. Why are you doing CGI dust?
you get a fog machine and blow some fucking anything but CGI dust.
Throw mad fart, whatever, man. Shit.
There's some confounding choices here, man.
Now, I feel like we should rank it, and obviously it's gonna go in Jeepers Crappers. But
we might have to. Yeah, but it's crap.
Look, let's put it here for now.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like there's gonna be some things moving around because, well, the fourth one exists.
Okay.
And it's horrible.
Let's get to the fourth one. No secret here. You just said it. Fucking, it's garbage.
It might be the worst movie I've seen this year again.
It might be the worst movie I've seen in a few years.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, reboot.
Oh man, no, that's worse than reboot. At least Kevin Smith put some effort, surprisingly, into reboot. This garbage. I don't understand. Did the guy give a shit about the mythology of this character? Apparently not, because he just doesn't make sense. This movie is Halloween Resurrection. Let's just put it that way. It's literally the same plot as Halloween Resurrection, and it's less creative. If you can imagine a world where something is less creative than Halloween Resurrection, the worst Halloween movie of all time, this is it. We live in it, guy. Jeepers Creepers Reborn is supposed to be a remake, not a remake, a reboot, and I guess by default of that, a remake of the universe.
Yeah, but
there's some things in this movie that end up kind of suggesting that all the movies happened in the way that they are, and also the alternative versions of those movies happened.
Yeah, the movies that exist are movies in the movie, but also they happened
exactly the way they did, and then also an alternative version of them.
Yeah,
happened.
Exactly. They introduce recreation of the first movie, which I guess also happened.
Yeah,
everything happened.
So this movie basically opens with the beginning of Jeepers Creepers, the original. Only it's a recreation on a crime drama show, which you find out a little bit later into it. And it's an old man and his wife, which I guess are the substitutes in this world of this thing for the Justin Long and I forgot her name characters, the brother and sister, Gornak, I think it was. And so it's established that in this world, it was a couple. And that then later we know that Jeepers Creepers was a movie that fictionalized that account, and I guess made them brother and sister. Okay, fine, but whatever. We're introduced to this fucking couple, which by the way, one of them is Dee Wallace. God, I love her, but it's getting to the point where everybody in horror is trying to use her just because she's so dang lovable, and it's cheapening her, guy. Yeah. Stop using Dee Wallace this way. But anyway, and they basically go through the whole shtick of the creeper, and then it's announced that they were never found again, and this is a fucking murder show.
Yeah, keep in mind this is a murder show with recreation actors, and they show the creeper being an actor, and then later find out that they looked like that. I guess
later they find newspaper clippings of the actual couple that this recreation was, and it's the same actors. Yep. Also, you gotta beg the question. If nobody survived, how the fuck do they even know the fucking story?
Yeah.
You know, you could argue that, I guess it's a legend that gets around, an urban myth or whatever that turns out to be real. But the exact story they know, it fucking sucks. But then even later in the movie, you see an altar to the creeper. We'll explain that. And that sucks. An altar to the creeper. And amidst the altar is a voodoo doll that's clearly Justin Long's character.
So I guess both accounts happened.
Now you could say, well, maybe that's just a little nod to the fans.
Nah,
homie. Given how they completely disregard everything about anything in this movie.
You also see the patches from the Hunters for part 3.
Oh, yeah?
That's like,
so I guess everything happened, and somehow it didn't at the same time. It fucking sucks. So anyway, this movie, it basically has the creeper coming back. Again, arguably from the same timeline, apparently. But anyway, he's coming back, and we largely hang out with this fucking couple that wins basically an escape room in a haunted house.
Yeah,
right?
you
And
get this 40 minutes into the movie, by the way. Up to this point, you're just in a shitty carnival.
Shitty carnival that's... I don't know if Horror Hound magazine, like 100% was behind them being used here, or if it was just a thing that the guy decided to do, because he uses Warner Brothers properties pretty willy-nilly, so he might have just said Horror Hound's the fucking thing. I don't know if they're approved of this, but goddamn, they should scrub themselves free of this garbage. But it's a Horror Hound festival, apparently a cosplay festival, I guess, and it's all clear that there's some sort of group of people. It turns out to be a cult. There's no spoilers. There is all spoilers, really. It's a cult of people that are organizing basically a sacrifice to the creeper.
Yeah.
And our main characters are a guy that like loves the lore of the creeper and thinks he's real and keeps on telling us that. Yeah. And his super hottie chick that
I'd suck her butt.
I'd suck her butt. I'm all for, like, hotties being hot, but this director clearly put in scenes just to see her be hot. Like, he literally has her dressed in different outfits.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's kind of a little weird, guy, but she's hottie, but whatever, this couple is at the center of this, and this cult that is kind of behind the scenes manipulating all this, although you barely see them, and it's very heavy-handed when you do. They basically are she's pregnant, and they're trying to...
They want to give the baby to the creeper because I guess eating a baby is gonna make him eternal, even though he's already eternal.
Yeah, he's literally already eating people to continue living. It's his thing.
Yes,
but
some may say it's his only thing.
It's literally the only thing besides possibly being a covert pedo.
Yeah,
which I guess explains the baby thing. But the point is,
he's gonna suck that baby.
I guess so. Big
Doodle
probably had some hand in this guy. But yeah, this fucking. I don't understand why this is a thing.
Look, so he
already is that guy.
40 minutes into the movie, the creeper finally comes in. Well, he comes in earlier. He comes out of a drainage pipe and eats worms on the floor, which I guess are just there.
I guess worms recoup him a little too.
Yeah, but yeah, 40 minutes in, he finally comes in, and it just becomes the most freaking generic slasher of all time.
Yep.
He's just in the house.
And he doesn't kill.
He has 3 kills in this movie.
Yeah.
3 kills, guy.
And
there's a 4th death, but the guy just falls off a roof, guy.
Yeah, it's not him, guy.
No.
And when you see him fall off the roof, you're like,
how
would you fall off the roof? No amount of bird is going to make me fall off this fucking roof that has a subroof underneath it.
Yeah.
But he literally doesn't. He sucks. He can't fucking kill people.
He literally sucks a gay guy's face off. Who's the other? Oh, he claws a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like eats a brain later, and that's it. And they all look like shit. None of the kills are cool.
And none of the kills, barring maybe the brain, none of the kills have to do with him recouping his body. He doesn't consume their body parts except the brain person. So what the fuck is he killing them for?
Yeah. Well, I guess you could say he consumed the gay guy's face.
Did he? What is the face gonna recoup?
He went like this, and then he sucked his face.
I guess.
But yeah,
it's all very like up in the air as to why he's doing things. Let's just
also it should be said that the creeper looks like crap.
Yeah.
They got like the thinnest dude ever. Now it is established that he's supposed to be kind of like weak and emaciated, but he also looks weak and emaciated. So you're never freaking. There's no
menace.
There's no menace. You're like, I could take this guy off.
This is no hate on the actor. I'm
gonna hate on the actor. He sucks.
Well, hear me out. This is no hate on the actor because we don't know what the fuck. But there was things out of control, like the effect, the prosthetics on him looked garbage, dude. So he has no control over that. He can only do it. And here's the thing: an emaciated creeper in an alternative timeline, supposedly, you could have come up with a pretty cool look for him. The scarecrow, like illusions. You could have really come up with something unique and cool looking that's still creeper-esque. But no, it's just a shitty creeper. That's it. He's just a shitty creeper guy.
Thankfully, he doesn't use his truck as much in this movie. He just uses it to drive to the house.
He uses it to travel from where he was.
Even though he has wings.
Yes, those cool things he had? Not there, guy. He uses it to travel to the house where you spend most of the time around lame people that don't get killed.
They keep walking into the same room over and over.
Over and over, guy.
You're like, dude, this is the same room. You're not fooling anyone.
Now, as for this cult thing that I mentioned earlier, there is a subplot where apparently the creeper has worshippers, and or maybe they're trying to, control him in some form. I don't know. I'm assuming they were worshippers that are trying to elongate his life. Why he would need this? The cult worshiping a demon thing, okay, fine, but why would he need their help? He's been doing this for years. He's been sucking things left and right, but we're just expected to believe a baby's gonna make a difference. Why didn't he do that before then? Whatever. Anyway, fucking a baby's not gonna fight back, guy. No. He could have done this ages ago, and
sucked any
even
baby.
In this universe, sucked any baby. I'm sure Victor Salva would have approved of that, but no, this boy apparently needs these people or whatever. And he just takes, he's like, I guess he just knows that they're doing this, and he's like, I guess I'm doing this, guy.
He takes the chick, and instead of sucking the baby down like most, sane
Salvas
people would do. Oh, well, yeah, Salvas would do. Instead of just going to, this is where I got to side with Al.
Okay.
You know how his villain, the villain Sal Smythe says that, why would you freaking spot out your plot if you could just kill a guy? Normally, I don't mind that because, usually there's information being conveyed to people that Al seems to not understand sometimes. Seriously, dude, New Nightmare is pretty easy to get. Anyway, here, I'm like, why isn't the creeper just sucking this baby down? Like, he's just kind of stabbing the stomach and licking and shit.
Look.
Just suck the baby.
A villain, is, as in a horror way, not any other way.
Yeah.
But, look, the bad guy playing with his food concept is like a thing in a lot of movies, not just horror movies. But this guy literally is not even playing with a food guy.
He's needs the
moving
food.
A knife here and there, and you're like, dude, this whole time you could have done more damage.
It's established that he needs this food. So just eat the freaking food, you stupid Moor. Like, what the hell, man?
Try to eat the food so that somebody can conveniently bust in and stop you. No, he doesn't do anything, guy.
It's the worst, guy.
It sucks. And anyway, of course, because he's a fucking loser in this movie, he gets fucking murked immediately,
dude, at the end, you know how the creeper's like damn near invincible?
Yeah.
They straight up just stab him in the eyes, guy.
They stab him.
They stab him.
And they say a cool quip.
How do you like them peepers, bitch? A roof! And then some guys in the roof who I guess just knew that thing was up there, throw a freaking
weather vane
into his head, and it goes like this.
Yeah, the effect is like CG and CG enhanced. Like it goes from like they are actually holding something, and then they throw it, and I guess it goes into CG, but it doesn't go in a straight trajectory or even a curve. It literally goes boom and then boop.
Yep.
And then it curves, and you're like, what was that? Yeah. Why was that a thing that happened?
Reshoot that, boy.
At
this point, we should mention that the entire movie is a CGI environment, basically. There's some sets, but it's also shot so badly that you can't tell when it's a set or when it's CGI. It was literally breaking our minds.
Yeah, the sets are so... Maybe it's because it was shot on digital, and they failed miserably at making it look like film, which I'm assuming they were trying, because it doesn't have a straight-up digital lighting scheme. But it neither looks like digital or film. It looks like caca, right? And like you say, even when they're sets, it's almost like that there's a part of that that's not a set. And then at one point, your brain just stops trying to decipher what is what. But there's some that are so horribly outstanding.
When they get into like the graveyard area, going to the house, everything looks like freaking spooky, scary skeletons backgrounds. Mm-hmm. And
it looks like a wallpaper from the 90s
background. Dude. It all looks horrible. And weirdly enough, your brain kind of gets used to it, but then occasionally it breaks your mind like that freaking...
Yeah, that's how things move when they're thrown, huh?
So the movie sucks my nut.
Oh, wait. How dare we forget, guys?
Oh, well, yeah.
So
there's a scene where the creeper is, I guess, playing with his food again, his brain food, and as he does, he goes and puts some tunes on. Mm-hmm. I, as a connoisseur of steak and cooking steak and listening to Linkin Park, understand that. Now this fool, you would think he would go and put the classic Jeepers Creepers tune, right?
Because this is a Jeepers Creepers movie.
You know, and that song is like public domain and like at least 100 years old at this point. Nah, homie. They chose a new remix. A Jeepers baby.
Oh,
something hungry eyes.
It's not Jeepers Creepers. It can't. let's suppose that it's not in the public domain. Jeepers Creepers can't cost that much, guy.
No.
It can't cost that much. Also, you didn't even need to use it in this movie because, look, maybe I have to refresh my memory on it, but there was really no big reason the Creeper played that song in the first one.
Yeah.
There's no big reason he plays it here other than I guess they were like, hey, that's a thing he did, so maybe let's do that. But in the first one, the way I took it is just the Creeper has kind of like adapted human quirks to his personality. He's basically a demon serial killer. And this is a thing he does. You know? It's a thing. It colors his character. He likes to play fucking Jeepers Creepers, alright?
Plus the Creeper in the original trilogy had kind of like this weird sense of humor almost.
Yeah, that's true.
Not in this movie, so it doesn't make sense.
And it also has that weird, like, kind of like eerie quality because it's an old recording. And it's just, when it's matched with weird imagery, it just kind of gives you a weird vibe.
It's a real song that exists. And isn't just some guy going, Jeepers, baby.
Dude, this guy, I don't understand why he played it, one. And two,
he keeps playing it.
Like,
dude!
And then it sucks.
Yeah.
Jeepers, baby? What the fuck is that, man? It doesn't sound anything like Jeepers Creepers.
Super not scary.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't!
Timo!
Timo is a guy that apparently, he's the director of Iron Sky, right?
Yeah.
So, CGI environments are a thing that he worked with before. But Iron Sky, and I haven't seen Iron Sky. I own it, but I haven't seen it. I was a bug guy.
You have a Timo classic?
I have a Timo classic guy. But Iron Sky, I know it has its fans, but it's supposed to be shitty exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about this that says I'm being tongue-in-cheek and this is supposed to be shitty. This seems like somebody tried and yet simultaneously didn't try one damn bit to acknowledge anything that it is the Creeper. Because this is just a fucking guy that looks like a loser version of the Creeper. And everything he does is the antithesis of what we've established about the Creeper. And you might say, this is a new timeline, guy.
Doesn't matter, guy.
Doesn't matter. Do something that's familiar or do something that is established in this world. All we know is that this guy sucks at doing his job and that he fucking plays a shitty version of a song.
Jeepers, baby.
And that he dies.
Easily, guy.
Easily.
Oh, and at the end, he has his crow homies pick him up, and I guess he's back at the end because this is meant to be a trilogy. Also, at the end, the hottie is, I guess, now evil because her eyes turn black.
Yeah, there's no explanation.
There's no explanation.
No explanation as to why she's evil. If the Creeper would have died, then maybe you'd be like there was a transference of something.
Well, that homie didn't die.
For some reason, I guess the Creeper mildly cutting her stomach did something. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe it's the voodoo curse from this cult that barely appears and sucks. I don't know what the fuck it is. This movie fucking sucks, dude. It sucks.
I have one positive.
Do tell.
And I have to go back to 3 to give that one another negative.
Okay.
The soundtrack on 3 was bad. It sounded cheap as hell and terrible. The soundtrack on 4 is way better. But it's still not good.
It's still shit.
It's still shit, but it's a huge improvement over 3's terrible music. So I guess that would be my only plus is that at least the music is better than part 3.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because the whole movie sucks. Yeah. And also it ends with like the weirdest electronica track ever with you're like, what is that? Bring back Jeepers Baby.
Jeepers Baby, guy. So look, this doesn't even belong in the same strata as Jeepers Crappers.
That's what I'm saying. We have to move up Jeepers 3.
Yeah, man, we can't though. It's
and
not
put Jeepers Crappers down.
We can't move up Jeepers 2.
Can't move up 2?
We could just make a new level. Look, we create a new level for this boy right here, guy.
You can't do that, can you?
Guy, we're about to. Go that little boy right there.
I don't know how. Add a new
create. Yeah, there you go. Boom. There we go. We got new, and it's called fucking caca, guy. It's just straight mojon. Yeah, that's where that boy belongs. Creepers 3. Yeah, that's about right, guy. That's all I can say. This is not a good franchise overall. I know some people are gonna be tripping balls over us putting Jeepers Creepers 2 and D. I get you. I hear where you're coming from. But no, really. Let's just stick with the OG on this boy. This series sucks, and that's it, guy.
Yeah.
So
this video was brought to you by Capital One.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, let us know what you think about these. There's a couple more of these tier lists we're gonna do, and the Halloween fest continues.
Ding.
Bye.